Operations Center to improve your bale quality and farm efficiency. Are you ready to upgrade your hay equipment? Contact your local Landmark location for full details on the new 1 Series round baler and experience the Landmark difference.
It's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. So why leave your connection up to chance? Allo Fiber is fast and keeps you on track with reliable service from real people. Because with bad internet, buffering, hidden fees, and random robots can feel like start, stop, wait, start, no wait, stop, or just switch to Allo Fiber and break free from misery. Visit allofiber.com/break free to get started with Allo Fiber today.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LinkedInTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Fuhrer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico,
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. What's up, Rico?
Yeller.
How's the day?
Fantabulous. Got some delicious Mary Ellens for lunch.
Yeah, very good. The ribs were off the hook.
I tell you what, they were falling off the bone.
Off the chain, whatever you want to call it.
Off the bone.
Off the bone. The ribs were off the bone. The mac and cheese gets me every single time. Every single time the mac and cheese gets me.
If I'm going to have one complaint, which is not a very large complaint, it's that they haven't brought the beans yet.
Okay.
That's it. They haven't brought the beans yet.
Or bring the baked beans on by.
Mary Ellen's baked beans are probably the best baked beans I've ever had.
Okay.
That's literally my only complaint. Is that they haven't brought a piece of food. Other than that, the food they have brought has been fantastic. Like you said, the mac and cheese is delicious. Cornbread always hits the spot.
Hey, the cornbread was good. I had gotten to the food also like probably 30 minutes after it got here or so. Number one, it was still warm, which was delicious. Mm-hmm. Number two, it was still fresh. The Mary Ellen's food for the soul, off the bone, like we called it.
Off the bone.
Off the bone. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. I want to thank our sponsor of the program, Empire Fence and Netting, for their support of the show as always. We do have a loaded show for you guys coming up throughout the next 50 minutes or so. Nebraska has officially named their starting quarterback. No surprise there. But now that we don't have to speculate, we can actually have a deep conversation on what it means, right? And what's the road look like for Nebraska's freshman starter, Dylan Raiola. We'll talk to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska here in just about 3 minutes or so. We moved up the conversation with Steve to about 110, to about 110, 115 or so. So that way we could be joined by a very special guest from Linked2Literacy coming up at 1:30 to talk about their second annual WordStock that's going to be coming down and happening this Saturday. And I'm going to have a problem with Aaron Davis right now because what AD does is he likes, or if you have an iPhone, you understand this.
Oh, he likes the text?
He likes the text.
Oh my God.
But he doesn't always stay up to date with the text.
So he'll like a lot of them.
So he'll just go back and like a lot of them in our group chat.
And your wrist is vibrating.
And it does not stop on my watch vibrating. And so I'm going to have some conversations with Aaron Davis about technology. So second annual WordStock for Linked2Literacy. And then I don't know if you guys saw the hold on, AD just texted me separately here.
Did he?
He goes, LOL, I had to catch up. Anyway, and then we are going.
The future is now,
the future is now. Get yourself, get on top of things.
Catch up.
But anyway, and then to round out the show, definitely want to get to an article that Field Yates of ESPN, he mocked Tommy Hill to be the 32nd overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
What does it mean?
Nebraska has not had a first-round pick since.
I know who, but I don't remember the year. Prince Amukamara.
That's correct. Prince was Nebraska's last pick.
10?
No.
9?
No.
11?
It might be 2010, actually. You might have been right on that one.
No, because 2009 was Sue. He was the year after. So it'd be
2011.
2011. Okay.
2011.
I hate the year and then the draft and the national championship game. And you have to remember, like, it was this season. It was like 9-10, but it was the 10 draft.
Yes.
10, that
annoying. First round of the 2011 NFL draft. Okay. First round pick 19. But regardless, I mean, that's a long time. And we just had the conversation a couple of days ago about Nebraska's NFL draft picks and how it works in recruiting and the pitch that they're able to sell to recruits potentially, and vice versa. If I'm Georgia and Rico's Nebraska, how I can negatively recruit Nebraska and put them in a negative light, despite it being a different staff, right? It's the program. It's the history of the last 10, 15 years or so. So even if Tommy Hill's not Nebraska's next first round pick, is there somebody on the staff that you would be comfortable saying, yeah, you know what? I could see them being a first round pick. And Nebraska's had second rounders and maybe first round is not, all the end all be all, but ultimately
it is a nice flex.
I was going to say, ultimately, you have a Michigan that had multiple last year. Mm-hmm. Alabama's had so many over the last couple of years. Alabama put out that crazy statistic where they had offseason contracts for some of their former players. Mm-hmm. This year in the offseason alone, their former players signed like $915 million worth of offseason contracts.
All of the money. All of it. That's ridiculous.
That's an incredible recruiting tool.
That's ridiculous. You could it's one of those things where you just say, like, even if you're not drafted in the first round, which you're probably going to be when you come here.
Yeah.
Look at how much money all of these guys signed for. Look at how much our third round picks are making now.
Yeah.
Because we developed them to be really good players. And then we had them prepared to go to the NFL and whatnot. I mean, if you're looking at these first round mocks, Colorado, who maybe not going to have that many wins this season. Hopefully for them, they're going to be at least 500. They're going to have, for sure, I can tell you this much, they are for sure going to have 2 first rounders.
Yeah.
And and Nebraska, you like to, puff out your chest and say, going to beat Colorado and be better than Colorado, this and that. Well, Colorado's going to have 2 first rounders, even if they don't have a winning season. And that's something they can point to.
402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys. We're going to effort to get Steve Marik, our good friend, on the show here in just a few moments. A couple of texts from you guys. Eric asked, Rico, how did you say Prince's last name?
Amukamara.
That is correct. And we had Prince, not we specifically, the ticket had Prince on a show, and he actually cleared it up on that is how you pronounce his last name.
It is not Amukamara. It is Amukamara.
Amukamara.
Like camera, but not camera.
Kamara.
Yeah.
Amukamara.
He said it with an accent. I'm, butchering it.
Yes.
But yes.
That is the correct way from Prince's.
From Prince himself. I'll go back and I'll find it. I think we might still have it in a folder. Let me see.
There you go. Anyway, Cubsker says, yeah, he was rookie on the Giants. the second time they beat Rico's Patriots. That's right, because he is a Super Bowl champion.
He is a Super Bowl champion. Shut your mouth.
Neil says, guys, over under for players drafted in the upcoming draft, 6+ or minus. We will get to that in the final segment because I think that's a good crossover conversation with Austin and Strick coming up here in just a few moments, around 150 or so, to round out the show and get you ready for On the Block with Strick and Austin. So, by the way, you can always follow Rico or myself on Twitter, Nick_Sainert, or at Radio Rico AC on the good old X machine. Before we get to Steve Marik here in just a second, let's talk. Nebraska's quarterback decision has been made. It's Dylan Raiola. He is the guy for the upcoming season that Nebraska is going to trot on out there. And it's a freshman quarterback that obviously there's a lot of expectations. I think the decision that he is the starter is not surprising in the slightest, but also it's now, can Husker fans balance the fine line of expectations with a 5-star quarterback and understanding the growing pains or process of a true freshman quarterback out there?
No, they cannot. Nebraska fans are not going to be able to process that. It's going to be one of these seasons where, and it's just how it goes with a quarterback. Every little thing he does is going to be scrutinized to the umpteenth degree. Unfortunately for him, despite being a true freshman, people are going to expect greatness immediately out of him because he was a 5-star quarterback, because he was, the second best quarterback in the class, the first best quarterback in the class, depending on where you look, wherever it was. He was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this last class. He was one of the best recruits in this last class. People are going to expect greatness right away. You're starting as a true freshman. People want to see it. People want to see wins. People want to see great numbers. So every little thing, he'll throw an interception and it'll be the end of the world for some people. So it's going to be tough for the fans to brace for that. And it's going to be an even tougher road for himself because, I mean, we've heard from him. You probably know how much pressure he's going to be putting on himself to be that guy for Nebraska and being named the starting quarterback as a true freshman going into this second year of Matt Rule. There's going to be a lot of pressure, not only from the outside, but from the inside, from himself. So it's going to be a rough road going. Look, I don't care if he's playing lights out. It's still going to be one of those things where he believes there's going to be, he'll throw an incomplete pass and be beating himself up saying, I should have done this, I should have done that.
402-464-5685. It's time we now go to the Allo VIP line. VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. And we're joined by our good friend, Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Steve, hello.
Hey, Nick. Hey, Rico. Thanks for having me on.
How's things going over there?
Oh, it's going great. Yeah, a slow morning, right? No, I'm just kidding. Not a slow morning, but yeah, it's been going well. Got some early news today on the quarterback situation, so that's always good.
We'll talk about that here in a second. I guess just how are we feeling a week and a half away from really getting into the nitty gritty part of football season? Are our typing fingers ready?
Yeah, the typing fingers are very ready to go right now. I've been ready to roll for a while now, and I think a lot of the coaches and players are too.
Okay, so
have you told your family that you're going to be extremely busy and won't be able to see them very much?
You know what? This is going to be maybe my third full season of covering Husker football. So they are ready and aware that I will be out of commission for many stretches during the fall here.
Shout out to your wife. Okay, so Steve, yeah. Nebraska names their starter. It's officially Dylan Raiola.
Surprise.
Not a huge surprise there. However, now it's time. We don't have to have the speculation and that kind of conversation. Now we can actually talk with the understanding that he will be trotting out there to start on next Saturday against UTEP. How do Husker fans balance the expectation for Dylan Raiola while also understanding, there is probably going to be some growing pains and there's going to be an adjustment coming up here for the true freshman?
Yeah, that's the question, right? I mean, I think what's kind of come into play here is, we've all kind of assumed that it's going to be Dylan Raiola's job for a long time now, like even in the spring. And so I think even, I know other media members have, like, around this space, they've tried to, I don't want to say temper the excitement or just be realistic about, what's going to happen. He's a true freshman playing his first snaps of college football. this year. He's never done it. And I understand he's coming with a lot of excitement behind his name, the 5-star status. He looks very good whenever we get actual eyes on him during the limited portions of the practice. So there's a lot to like there, but I think that everybody's kind of assumed that it's going to be him. And during that process, even way back during spring, I think everybody kind of understands, what the deal is, that he is going to be a 19-year-old true freshman out there doing this thing for the first time. So I think everybody, Nebraska has smart football fans. They're aware of, who he is and how old he is and the experience level that he currently does not have. So I think everybody's going to be realistic and understand that there's going to be some highs and there's going to be some lows.
Steve, I guess, I don't want to spend too much time on the quarterback because, like you said, we kind of all expected this going forward. I guess the question I would have with the quarterbacks in general is, if you're Heinrich Harburg or Daniel Kalen in this sense, what is your mentality like going forward now? Because we know the staff is obviously still high on those two guys, especially somebody like Heinrich Harburg. Matt Rule has been very vocal about how they feel like they can win games. And frankly, they won all their games. All 5 wins came with Heinrich Harburg at the quarterback position last year. How do you kind of handle your business if you're those two guys, but specifically Heinrich in this case, where you've shown that you've been able to win games, but ultimately now you got passed up for the starting job? Yeah,
that's an interesting point. And I think it's one that's kind of been hammered home by Rule in that quarterback's room himself by saying, hey, it's a long football season. Yeah. If things go well, it's going to be more than 12 games and potentially more than 13, just, potentially, depending on how the ball rolls. But, that means then, Husker fans know injuries at the quarterback position happen. Rule has said on multiple occasions now that who knows, it could take multiple quarterbacks to get through the season. It sure did last year. And who's to say it's not going to happen again? So, I think for Heinrich, for as good of a athlete as he is, I think the staff is going to find a way to get him on the field in a non-quarterback role, or even taking direct snaps, something like that, just to get the ball in his hands and use that athleticism and that huge size that he has, but also with the understanding that, hey, we could potentially be leaning on you during the season as well, just in case if there's an injury to the starter Dylan Raiola. So I think that's kind of a big talking point with Rule. It has been when he's talked to the media of, hey, understand that it's a long season, injuries happen, and nothing is guaranteed out there. They might have to adjust on the fly, just like they had to do last year and the year before that and the year before that. So. I think Heinrich understands, he's a Cornhusker through and through. He understands his role on this team. He understands that a lot of the teammates really kind of back him and play hard for him. So I think his head is going to stay in the game and he's going to be used on the field. But also he understands that it could be him again.
Steve, I guess, and this is going to be a hard question to answer, so I apologize for this one because it might put you in a tougher spot. But I just want to know kind of like your personal thoughts and opinions on this. In years past, there's felt like there's been a pretty wide gap between QB1 and then QB2 and QB3 and QB4, right? And you can go through each class and say, okay, yeah, there's a larger gap between this guy and that guy and so forth and so on. I guess I want you to kind of give your thoughts on what do you think the gap is? Like how big or small, narrow of a gap do you think there actually was between, Dylan Raiola, QB1 in this case, and the rest of the guys? Because going along with what you just said and what Matt Rule has talked and been pretty transparent about regarding, needing 2 quarterbacks to play this season, I'm curious, like, if Husker fans are worried about the gap and the drop-off, if you will, between, in this case, Dylan Raiola and Heinrich Harburg.
Well, I think there was a gap, but I think when you look at those 2 quarterbacks specifically, like they're way, way, way different types of quarterbacks. So, when Dylan is on the field, the offense is going to look one way. When Heinrich Harburg is on the field, if he is in 2024, that offense is going to resemble, what more like last year's offense, which, might be scaring a lot of Husker fans, but it's just the situation that they were put in with a lot of the injuries and how they had to lean on the run game and everything. But I think it should be noted that, during the times that we media members and some of the fans who went to the Big Red preview practice on August 3rd, I think it was, Heinrich's throwing motion did look improved. His throwing accuracy, at least to me, my untrained eyes looked pretty good. And obviously he has the benefit of, if you do use Heinrich Harburg, that quarterback run game is always an element, and that's not going to be an element with Dylan Raiola. So, I mean, there's different things that you can do with different quarterbacks out there that I think could potentially be good. But yeah, I think when you're kind of talking about the gap, I just think it's kind of like a apples to oranges things because, they're different styles of quarterbacks and you do different things and you play to their strengths. And with Dylan Raiola, his arm strength is just, I think it blows everybody else out of the water in that quarterback room. And that allows the offense to potentially do way more dynamic things down the field than the offense was even capable of last year. So they're just two different quarterbacks, and I think both could do some good things. But when just looking at the quarterback position and everything that it's asked to do at the college level right now, and how in your face the passing game is in college football right now, I think Dylan Raiola obviously fits that to a T, and that should excite a lot of people.
I want to move on to special teams here. Ed Foley talked yesterday. We're joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska currently. Ed Foley talked yesterday, and I think I forgot maybe how just non-existent Nebraska's punt return yards were last year, 48 of them last season. I mean, are we talking about special teams enough going into this season, or is it, are we talking too much about freshman quarterback and the experienced defense coming back?
Well, we're obviously talking about way too much. We're obviously talking about a true freshman quarterback way too much. We're talking about the defense way too much, and we're all kind of just glossing over the fact that the return game in both the punt return and kickoff return has been pretty brutal in recent seasons. But right now it's a new season. They're going to have another shot at it, obviously, and I like that Ed Foley was pretty upfront and open and honest about having, it wasn't his best effort last year. He called the punt return game terrible, and it falls directly on him. I think, having the injury situation that they had to go through last year with some of those guys, Ramir being out, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda being out, it really affected that punt return unit and kickoff return unit. But it's a new year, so they'll get another shot at it. And what I think could potentially be really, really cool and a good thing is Ja'Cory Barney Jr. and what he is showing in practice and what he's showing Ed Foley with the ball in his hands, because that kid's got all the juice you want. He's got all the excitement and ability. It's just he kind of lacks the experience of doing that, obviously, as a true freshman in college football. So he obviously did some of it in high school, but it's just a different game when you're here at the Big Ten level. So maybe inserting Ja'Cory Barney Jr. as a returner on the punt and kickoff teams, maybe that helps out. But yeah, that's something that needs to get better. Matt Rule has said plenty of times that, the field position is incredibly important. And last year, it kind of got to the point where they weren't even attempting to gain yards on their punt return unit punt return unit. So I think that'll change. Obviously, hopefully the injury bug stays away from some of those key guys, but maybe Ja'Cory Barney Jr. Pumps a little bit of life into those two units.
In that case, you said something there that kind of sparked a thought in my mind, and I don't know how realistic it is. Like, what is the leash on those guys in the return game? There's no set, and we're never going to get an answer, right? We know the staff is so big on competition, but Nebraska's special team games, even prior to the staff, just hasn't been good, right? It hasn't been electric. The Trey Palmer stuff was really good, and so was Samari Toure at times, but that almost looks like a flash in the pan compared to the rest of the years. Since, DeMornay Pearsonell back in the mid-2010s. And so you're sitting here going, all right, yeah, let's try Ja'Cory Barney Jr. this year, or let's try Ethan Nation, who's no longer on the roster, or Billy Kemp. And it just never really panned out. So I guess, is there a way is it the process just trying to throw different guys in there and see if one can be a little more electric than the other?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think I have a good answer for it because, you're playing football in the Big Ten, which is a conference that, is filled with teams that know how to do special teams and are really good at it, and put, teams that maybe aren't as good at it in bad positions. Maybe that's, just look at Iowa and what they do with their punting game. Michigan State always seems like they have really good punters who put returners in positions that where, if you're not used to doing it, you can struggle with it. And I think Ed Foley even said, when they were while they're trying right now to get Ja'Cory Barney ready, he's having to really kind of, get the details down and understand, like, hey, if we put you on this yard line on the field and the ball is going over your head, let it go. And I think that's a process for somebody like Ja'Cory Barney, who has so much excitement, so much juice in him. He wants to get the ball and go. But we saw in the spring game where he had that fantastic kickoff return and was tackled by Tristan Alvano. But if he didn't make the mistake of thinking that Alvano was his own teammate, he would have taken it to the house. But then on the very next kickoff return, you saw Barney field the ball like 7 or 6 yards in the end zone. He blew past Maurice Mazuka's signal to, like, hey, stay. And he, just got tackled on like the 5-yard line and put the offense in a very, very terrible situation. So it's just stuff like that somebody like Ja'Cory Barney is going to have to improve on. And that's why I think Ed Foley said, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is more of a safer bet right now in terms of the punt return. And then in terms of the kickoff return, it's going to be Ramir Johnson, at least to start. I don't have a good answer for you, Nick. It's been a strange trend with Nebraska and its special teams.
We're speaking with Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska right now. And Steve, I don't know if you've ever been part of an offseason where jersey numbers mattered so much. And we had the unveiling of the single digit jersey numbers, kind of a 2-ish, 3-ish part question. Was there anybody who you were surprised didn't get a single digit number? Your thoughts on only one offensive player and the whole drama between Dylan Raiola and Malachi Coleman for number 15?
No, I have never been a part of an offseason where jersey numbers matter so much. It doesn't really get me all that excited, I guess, but I understand why so many people are interested in it, just because it tells you who the top guys, the leaders, I guess, the toughest players are in the program. So in that sense, yes, it's important. But, in terms of surprises, honestly, not really. I guess you could say maybe Tommy Hill, just considering his past. But again, if you paid attention, Tommy Hill has done everything right since, Matt Rule has kind of gotten through to him. So Tommy Hill getting number 6, that's not surprising to me. Maybe you could go down the line at number 7 with Malcolm Hartzog. But again, not really to me, because Malcolm Hartzog is like him or not, he's a very important part of that defense. He's a very versatile guy who's going to be playing a lot of safety for them this season. He's a veteran guy. He knows the defense. That didn't surprise me at all. Deshaun Singleton, spend 5 minutes with Deshaun Singleton and hear him talk and learn about his journey. Like, obviously he's going to be one of those single digit guys. He got one last year and he got one this year, coming off a major knee injury. So there weren't many surprises for me. Those 10 guys right there. Those are the leaders. In terms of just one offensive guy with Jamal Banks, again, it's, the offense is kind of put at a disadvantage with the offensive linemen who have to wear a certain range of numbers. But outside of that, with a true freshman quarterback, a running back room that's going to be by committee, a solid mix of veterans and young guys in the receiver core. Jamal Banks was an easy pick for sure, but again, I don't get bent out of shape with just one offensive guy. It makes complete sense to me. That defense is loaded and it's going to be the strength of the team again. So it makes sense that I think 9 of the 10 guys come on that side of the ball.
All right, Steve. Hey, appreciate the time as always, man. We will certainly talk to you next week at some point. Appreciate the time as always. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Rico.
There he is, Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Appreciate the time. As always, good stuff there. Quarterbacks, special teams, single-digit numbers, all that, and more with Steve on our weekly conversation. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, we talk Linked2Literacy's 2nd annual WordStock. We'll do that next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Summer concerts keep rolling at Pinewood Bowl with a great show on Wednesday, August 21st. Blue October headlines a trifecta of artists with Switchfoot and Matt Nathanson starting things off. Don't miss Blue October, Switchfoot, and Matt Nathanson on Wednesday, August 21st at Pinewood Bowl. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
Stevens & Smith Construction is a full-service, employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensandsmith.com. Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings & Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings & Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Attention! For a limited time, Acres is offering 1.9% for 60 months on remaining 22 and 23 John Deere combines. This extraordinary low interest rate, along with Acres' discounted pricing, allows you to upgrade your equipment before harvest and lock in incredible savings. And with Acres' A-plus support package included, you'll be up and running throughout the harvest season. Act now. This special rate won't last long. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Thursday, August 22nd for Early Break Live from the brand new Ruhlman Steakhouse in Ashland. We'll sample food throughout the broadcast and show off the newest steakhouse in the area this Thursday for Early Break Live from Ruhlman Steakhouse in Ashland.
Hay season is a race against time. Win that race with an all-new 1 Series round baler from Landmark Implement. The all-new John Deere 1 Series round baler is a revolutionary leap in baler technology that captures near real-time moisture and weight data that can be analyzed through Operations Center to improve your bale quality and farm efficiency. Are you ready to upgrade your hay equipment? Contact your local Landmark location for full details on the new 1 Series round baler and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I don't believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Huh?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Thanks again to our friend Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska for hanging out with us in the first segment, talking Husker football, quarterback stuff, special teams things, and various of other topics. You can always check out the interview with the conversation on our website, theticketfm.com, as well as anywhere you get your podcasts here in just a little bit. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. All right, now it's time we turn our attention to a very important event happening this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. out at Antelope Park. And to do so, we are joined by Amy Butler of Linked2Literacy. Amy, thank you so much for joining. We know you did this yesterday. You had to spend time with Vershawn.
I did.
And now our goal for me and Rico is that by the end of this conversation, we are your favorite show to join and not that one.
Yeah. Okay, ask me then.
Okay, perfect. That's the plan. So, okay, tell the listeners, how long have you been with Linked2Literacy? And then also, like, how have you seen it grow from when you first started to now?
Okay, so I'm Amy Butler, and I'm on the board of Linked2Literacy,
Mm-hmm.
and we became a nonprofit, officially a nonprofit, about 2 years ago. And we started out, a few of us, and just have rapidly grown.
Yeah.
I know when I talked to Kat Aussie, who's our executive director, when I first signed on, I think her 5-year plan turned into like a 1-year plan.
Mhm.
And it was like, oh, we've got to make some adjustments.
Of course.
So we've partnered with a lot of people. And I think a part of it is people just really understand our mission and are passionate about our mission. We have people contacting us wanting to know how they can get involved with Linked2Literacy.
What is that mission? Because we hear Linked2Literacy, obviously the literacy part of it. And so what is Linked2Literacy's mission?
Our mission is to inspire generations by providing inclusive books and literacy education through community-based programs and partnerships.
So I would ask, like, when you had those initial conversations on like, okay, this is what we expect to have happen in 5 years, or, time is relative. So in the next couple of years, these are our goals. What were those entry conversations like?
Oh, goodness. It just started out like, let's just get this ball rolling. Like,
Mhm.
let's get books into the hands of all kids.
Yeah.
Like, no matter who they are, how they grow up, we want to get books into all kids' hands.
Of
And that
course.
was really just our intent of let's meet and let's start doing this.
Mhm.
We all kind of went into it like, we're not sure what we're going to do. Let's just take it day by day. And day by day, it just kept growing. And
Yeah.
What have been some of the things, before we get to WordStock, what have been some of the things, some of the areas that you guys have gone about getting books into the hands of kids?
Mhm. So we have a lot of community partnerships. We have partnered with Teammates, which is a huge partnership, by providing book bundles into, I'm not sure how many schools in Nebraska, but tons of schools have
Yeah.
gotten these book bundles. There's about 28 books and activity books in there. And the mentors have been going through them and kind of learning how to work with all of these book bundles. So that's been a huge partnership for us. But tons of other ways that we've been partnering with people.
I'm sure a feeling that kind of overwhelms you often is pride, like is proud. And through these quick, fast moving 2 years, what is something that you kind of look back on? And I'm sure you get the question of like, why do you do this? Why are you on the board for a nonprofit? Why all that? What's been kind of the event or moment that you were like, okay, yep, you know what, Amy, this is all worth it.
Mhm. So I'm a past language learning teacher.
Okay.
And so literacy is so important to me. And working with those families, those
Yeah.
language learning families, has always been really near and dear to my heart. And we have recently really been working with family literacy through LPS, and working with those families has just been like, this is exactly what I want to do. Just a different way of teaching, but partnering kind of with the parents.
And
It's been awesome.
I'm sure the background has helped you, like because not to be but like you're speaking the language, right? And it's like, how dare you? I mean, there's part of it. I thought about that as soon as I started to say that. I was like, this is gonna fit perfectly. I gotta do this. Anyway, but you're speaking the language, like books, and you have a background in language and in this side of things. It's got to be so beneficial when you're trying to talk to people about linked to literacy.
It is. But not only having the background, I feel like everybody that's on the board has a huge passion for literacy and books and working with youth in our community. So,
and I think you have to, because I think a lot of nonprofit work, it's not glamorous. It's not especially sexy. Like it's 10 toes down. We're going to grind this out. We're going to do it for a good cause. And we're going to help a lot of people along the way.
Yep.
So, okay, now we have to talk about this Saturday.
Oh, yes.
We're just a couple of days away. Second annual WordStock for Linked to Literacy. It's out there at Antelope Park. Tell the folks, what is this? What is WordStock?
WordStock. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so much fun. So this is our second time doing it. Last year, first year doing it, 600 people show up.
Was that the expectation?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Here, we're like, there's going to be some book lovers who show up and love these books as much as we do. 600 people show up. We were so surprised by the turnout and the excitement within the community that it was, I think that afternoon, we all get messages and we're like, we got to do this again. This has got to be an annual thing if that's what the first year was like. So what it is, it's at Antelope Park. It's in the sheltered area. You show up, we're there, we're greeting you. If you have books you want to donate, I know a lot of us like to go through our books and donate them. You can bring them to the day of the event. You don't have to, though. You can still show up. We'll give you a Linked to Literacy bag.
Okay.
And then you go through, and we've had volunteers collecting books from multiple different locations in the community of the past month. And they have been organizing them into different ages and different genres. So you show up, you go in, and all of this is just organized. You can go to whichever table kind of speaks to you.
Yeah.
So it's nice because you don't have to shuffle through a whole bunch of books and try to find what's best for you. You just go to the table. You can take as many as you want. You can go home with one. You could go home with 50 books. We have so many.
There's that many
books. We had 13 drop-off locations for about a month. And I picked up from one location, and I have about 15 full boxes of books from one location.
That is incredible.
It's incredible.
Are
It's
there
so many books.
Are there any types of books that you maybe need more of, or any type of books that you're looking more for, like any children's books or young adult fiction, nonfiction? I know all of them are welcome, but are there any that you might be looking for more of?
I don't think necessarily any more of. Just more books is great, because the more books that are there, the more people have options to choose what they want. You know what we do need more of, though? Are volunteers right now.
There you go.
So we have quite a bit of volunteers. We need just a few more, especially on cleanup crew. That is the hardest thing to get volunteers for.
Yeah.
But we're always looking for volunteers for it. I actually told my sister, she's a teacher.
Okay.
She has seniors, and I told her
service hours.
Tune in, listen up, have your seniors listen to this so they can hear about this cool event, and they're going to want to sign up and volunteer. Service hours.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do that. I don't know. Do other schools have to do that?
We didn't have to do that.
Oh, well, we
didn't have to do service.
Did
you have to do
Lincoln
service hours?
South?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say Lincoln. I didn't think it was just like a Pius X thing.
No.
I thought it was
I think it's a
public
Lincoln
school
thing.
Might be a Lincoln thing.
We're just raising better humans.
Maybe that's what.
Forget Bellevue West.
Yeah, they're just like, we don't need service hours. You know
We
why?
don't need service hours.
they don't need to require service hours. We just go and do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh, you're
yeah.
so awesome.
Service the community.
Sure, something like that. Okay, so once again, we're joined with Amy Butler of the Linked to Literacy board member here, ahead of their second annual WordStock this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Antelope Park. We're going to be there. I'm going to be hanging out.
Cool.
We're going to be there. from like the start. I think we're going to like 7:30. It's like we're
Pretty
starting.
early.
Yeah, we're
It's
starting
an all day.
Yeah,
It's all
pretty
day.
early, and then we're getting out of there after cleanup is done. I got told to prepare to move like 600 books.
There's the cool thing is as many books as we get, a lot of them do go. Last year, all we had was one pickup truck full at the end of it.
That's great.
Books. I know.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Because then I'm sure that benefits other events that you guys do.
Yeah.
So like
Well-
this is kind of not a I don't want to say runoff, but like this is not only something that we need to tell a lot of people about, but also what are some other events then that you guys do throughout the year that if I can't make Saturday, want to help out, not only can they donate online, but what other events do you guys do throughout the year where people can get involved?
There's so many, and it varies
Absolutely.
by month. So
Yeah.
I would say the best thing to do is actually sign up for our newsletter. We send out a monthly
Mhm.
newsletter where it tells you exactly what we're doing, where you can show up. We have happy hours, which is super cool.
Hello.
Hello.
I've never met a happy hour I don't like.
I know,
I'm just gonna
right?
be honest.
So we have a happy hour. You show up, you chat, you have a drink or
Yeah.
a coffee.
Yeah.
Hang out and learn more about us. It's one of my favorite things
Yeah.
that we do. It's such a good way to spread the word of what we do and get some volunteers. But if you sign up for our newsletter, you can do that at linkedtoliteracy.org. Sign up for the newsletter and just learn about all of the events that we're hosting and participating in.
So we know that there's
go ahead.
So we know that there's going to be books obviously
Yeah.
at WordStock, right? What other things are going to be going on? What else is happening down at Antelope Park for WordStock?
So it's super cool. After you get your books, in the grassy area by the sheltered area is just so many community booths that are just speaking to their mission or what they do. There's also just tons of fun activities. There's some carnival games. This year, we're having a tie-dye station. Okay, that's nuts.
I've never made a tie-dye
It's gonna be
shirt,
so
but
fun.
you know Saturday I'm about to
You're going
I'm about
to.
get
I've made a
myself.
few tie-dye shirts in my day, and let me tell you, I feel like I'm an expert.
Okay.
Oh, then you got to show. You know what? I think we might need one volunteer for the tie-dye station. You should do
Rico's
it.
perfect. Rico can hang out the
I
entire day
know.
at the tie-dye station.
I'm going to tell DP that you're on that.
Yes, you
Okay.
should. Anyway, so yeah, but then
there's
food
also-
trucks.
There's food trucks, and people who are foodies are gonna love this. So there's like SoCal Taco.
Yep.
My husband last year said it was one of the best tacos he had.
Okay.
He's like, they are good.
Yeah.
So there's SoCal Taco, Red Link Barbecue. There's Kona Ice for the kids. I mean, who doesn't love Kona Ice?
And the adults.
And
Yeah.
Look,
Hey.
True. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys both said I was young, so I'm a kid.
Young-
I'm getting Kona Ice.
You want your Kona Ice?
Yeah, exactly.
Get your grown-up tacos. and then
Yes,
some Kona
exactly.
Ice.
And I'm gonna enjoy happy hour with the water.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, what else is there? There's chocolate season will be there
Oh,
for the
great
coffee
spot.
lovers. I
Oh.
love chocolate season. I know. So they're gonna be there. Slow Your Dough has some pastries and
Okay.
cookies there too. So
Yeah.
tons of food trucks.
We got a question on the
Mm-hmm.
text line. Do you need to bring a shirt to tie-dye, or do you need to bring a hoodie? Are you guys providing stuff? What is the process there?
Such a good question. We actually have Linked to Literacy shirts that you can purchase there.
Beautiful.
And then you can stop by the tie-dye station and tie-dye it.
Perfect. There you have it. Okay, so once again, linkedtoliteracy.org
Mm-hmm.
is the place to sign up, not only to donate, right? But if you don't want to help out or can't help out financially, you can certainly do so by just being present, right? They need volunteers, not only for this, but if you're interested in learning more just about the organization as a whole, linkedtoliteracy.org. But most importantly, if you're not doing anything this Saturday, which a lot of us aren't because Husker football doesn't start till the 31st, come on out to Antelope Park, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You don't have to bring a book to share or swap, but you sure can. And you can take as many as you want home with you for you and your family. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. From Antelope Park. We're going to be out there. We'll be broadcasting live from out there a couple of hours before the event, as well as when the event starts. But there will be plenty of people. I know Jay Foreman's reading a children's book to some of the kids.
I think he said he wants to read Green Eggs and Ham.
He said he wants to read Cat in the Hat.
Oh, no,
and
Cat in the Hat. Yeah, he
Cat
wants
in
to
the
read those
Hat.
Vershawn said he was reading Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
what he
So
said.
we're
sounds like a
all
Vershawn
over.
book.
Yeah, see, we're all over the place here. So we're gonna be hanging out there. We're gonna help out the folks, the great folks from Linked to Literacy, coming up on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Highly recommend you guys either checking them out online, linkedtoliteracy.org. That is the number 2, linkedtoliteracy.org. wordstock.org. And then make sure you stop on by WordStock this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Amy, appreciate the time as always. Hopefully we're your favorite show now. For Sean and the captain are a close second.
Close second.
Can't help it, but there you go. I know they kept you for 2 segments, so maybe that's probably why that gives them maybe the upper hand.
That is
but
true.
ultimately, we're going to get Amy out of here. We appreciate her time as always. WordStock, be there, be square. You can tie dye, you can eat food trucks. There's plenty of stuff coming down the stretch here for Linked to Literacy's WordStock 2nd annual. And I would assume that there's going to be many, many more. We'll step aside, close things out, get you ready for the next show coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Mail have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Mail. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmail.com.
Fox KFXL weather brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers this morning, otherwise mainly sunny skies the rest of the day. We see a high around 84. Tonight, increase in cloud cover with the low around 65. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies, and it will be breezy. The high around 83. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with a Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LinkedInTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
It's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. So why leave your connection up to chance? Fiber is fast and keeps you on track with reliable service from real people. Because with bad internet, buffering, hidden fees, and random robots can feel like start, stop, wait, start, no wait, stop, or just switch to Fiber and break free from misery. Visit allofiber.com/break free to get started with Fiber today.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at HuskerFanTravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour.
Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you. What?
With Nick Sainert.
You wake up in the morning, son, put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
You put on a little jacket, you go. You take your lunch because you got big boy pants on. You got your big boy pants and your snacks.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I can say big loud things. I can be demonstrative.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you, as well as Strick and Austin now. Gentlemen, hello.
How we doing, fellas?
What's going on, Strick?
That's my
No, it is not.
That's my what was his name? The guy on the William Wallace. That's my William Wallace call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you just run with that.
The guy from Braveheart?
Yeah, that's him.
He never said shit.
That's for me to see what he said. When I saw it,
He said,
Oh, there you go. Hey. That's what happens when you walk in at 1:58 p.m. You forget minor details.
To be fair, my partner was 1:56 p.m.
Okay.
So.
yeah, watch it.
I made it. Dang it!
You did. What you been doing?
What? Dang.
I was just curious.
I was playing golf.
Oh, I didn't get an invite.
So you just stepped out your back door.
Psych! I was not playing.
Stepped out his back door.
Stepped out the back door. Stepped out the back door.
I'm not listening to Rico.
On number
Rico
6.
makes no sense right now.
Yeah, he only got 13 holes in because he lives on number 7.
Yeah. Not too much.
Whatever.
Just a quick,
What's
quick
up, Nicky?
13.
Tricky Nicky, I love the baby picture. That's
what
so
baby
you.
picture.
Tricky Nicky.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, underneath the cabinet.
Yeah, you had to guess the ticket, baby. I don't know.
Yeah.
that ain't me.
What are you talking about?
That's
awesome.
That's Tricky.
Yeah,
Nicky.
that's Rico.
There's no,
Yeah.
there's no doubt in
That's
my
me.
mind that's Tricky Nicky. There's no doubt.
Why?
Under the cabinet, hiding out, being sneaky. That's Tricky Nicky.
I think it's Bach.
Is that right? Who do we think?
I think it's Tricky Nicky.
I think it's Bella.
Bella posted herself. I did enjoy a cabinet once or twice.
Yeah.
I
You
do-
were down there. It was
I
like,
do enjoy
it was
a
like that was a second home down there.
It
was
was,
like,
hey,
that was your.
Somebody said,
you know, you used to make the
I
tents.
used
That's
to
your tent.
seriously. No, I would climb in the cabinets and I close the doors and I just hang out in there in the cabinets.
Think you're Harry Potter or something?
Hey, I don't know. All I'm gonna say, my parents would lose me. My parents would lose me, and
he was like, "What's up, guys?"
I was just in the cabinets.
He said I would
I
join
could
a
never fit in the
cabinet.
lazy. I could never fit in the Lazy Susan, but I could always fit in those cabinets.
I used to make the greatest.
Shout out to
love
Lazy
a good
Susan.
Lazy Susan.
Everybody loves a good Lazy Susan.
I saw one. You know, you're getting old. One. I saw one where this person started. They like pulled it out of the corner, and like the Lazy Susan came out of the corner.
Oh no way!
So then it was like out in the
Hello.
kitchen, and you could spin it. And I'm like, man,
Game
I tell
changer.
You what, I tell every once in a while, I'll see some house things, and they're just like, hey, this is what you need to include in your house. I'm like, yes, I do. I do. Whenever I do get a house,
I think I was the most creative. I had the biggest tent room ever.
Okay.
Your room was a tent?
I created the biggest tent room. Like the whole room was a tent.
Like blanket fort?
I was going to say, how big on forts were you guys?
Big fort guy.
Forts, yeah.
Yeah.
Moderate.
Yeah.
I
used to go to the playgrounds and create those as forts.
Okay.
You know, where because
but you
got to
share your space.
Fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blanket fort or
we grew
pillow
up in
fort?
different neighborhoods.
Blanket fort.
Stop.
Anyway.
What did he say?
Nothing.
Sergeant Mayman text.
Sorry.
I need to know what Nick just said.
Did you hear Austin? Okay.
I need to know what Nick just said. Repeat. Send it to Stricky.
I'll say it I'll say it over the break for you.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Ridiculous.
But no, I never did that in public spaces because I never wanted to share it.
Yeah.
I wanted it as my fort.
You make sandcastles and then people destroy them?
Yeah, I was just always bullied. I was always bullied as a kid.
Me too.
That's because your head hasn't changed size. It's always been that big.
That's what somebody said on the text
too.
line. They said
it was unbelievable how bullied I got.
Guess who?
You're
Eric.
bullied more now in the crossover than you ever were as a kid.
Eric says this. Is it a big baby head? Then it's Nick.
As the great Jay Foreman says, Nick got a barbecue pit.
I could say a couple things about Jay Foreman too. So you know what? But I don't, because that's my partner in high school football, and we start next Friday. Lincoln Christian, Lincoln Lutheran. I got confirmation. We have a spot. We're gonna be at my alma mater, calling not my alma mater's game.
Calling my alma mater.
That is right.
Keep that gosh dang spirit sword on 56 and 5. Dang it. Let's go.
Okay, that spirit sword is legit.
I'm getting a picture with the spirit sword next Friday.
Hell yeah.
I'm absolutely getting a picture.
Don't let Jay touch it.
I'm wondering if they're going to let me hold it.
We had it my sixth grade year, and then not again the entire time I was at Lincoln Lutheran, and then they won it back the next year.
Did they have it? Did they have it this year?
Yes, they.
So
won
I just got to talk to Scott.
Yeah,
and just be like, hey, can I hold
Scott
it?
is not there.
Oh, no, I don't have to talk to Scott.
Dan Masters.
Whoopsies.
Dan Masters.
Whoopsie doodles.
I got Dan's contact.
Okay, cool. Because I want to hold the spirit sword.
Are outsiders allowed to touch the spirit sword? Is that?
I don't know. Let me talk to my people. I'll get my people in touch with you.
Yeah, I'm an alum by community year or something like that.
Just don't be a bully like you always used to be.
Like I used to be.
Yeah,
it's tricky. You saying out of pocket things today? Why don't you? Is your phones on silent?
Yes. I don't have.
I'm surprised you're not going through solitaire.
Have one phone,
I'm surprised you're not going through solitaire withdrawals yet.
What are you talking about? Phones. I only got one phone, bro.
Okay, anyway. Well, I don't, here we are. We're talking about this. 402-464-5685.
Redonkulous.
The Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Guys, I'm not sure if you saw the Field Yates stuff about Tommy Hill being 32nd overall. Are you guys talking about this at all?
Let's get into it here.
Okay, perfect. So it's no surprise, and it's factual. Nebraska's last first round pick was Prince back in 2011, first round, 19th overall to the New York Giants. With that in mind, if you were a betting man, is anybody on Nebraska's current roster a first round pick talent?
Tommy, I think, would be a little bit of a reach right now.
I do too.
I want to see another year from him.
I agree.
I'm not saying he can't do it. I want to see another year. Ty Robinson's pedigree, his success didn't live up to it, so I think he played his way out of first round. Nash is a day 2 pick, probably. Yep. Are you buying Dylan Raiola as a first round pick? I mean, right now with the announcement, you'd like to think so, but again, that's at least 3, if not 4 years down the road. You have to look at who's in his class and whatnot. So, I mean,
Nayor maybe.
He's got a 2 good
I think
years.
he's got potential.
I love Nayor.
I think he's got potential.
Isaiah Nair's size.
What about?
I think is it?
I think with his
we'll talk
size,
about that
his
later.
speed, his ability, he has a better chance to be better. Again, this is potential. I think he has a chance to be, with a good throwing quarterback, just as good as Trey Palmer.
If he has
not better.
If he has a Wyoming year at Nebraska, it's closer.
Here's a question for you. If Isaiah Nair is Nebraska's leading receiver this year, and 5 is being shell-shocked, 1 is not surprised at all, what are we saying?
I think Nayor would end up with the most yards. I think Banks ends up with the most catches.
I agree. I would agree. I just think, man, I'll be honest.
2.5, 3?
2.5. Yeah, right in that middle.
Yeah, right in the middle for me.
Based on what we were watching when me and Austin were watching Jamal Banks highlights from his time at Wake Forest, he's going to get a lot of catches. Might not be a lot of yards, might not be a lot of touchdowns.
But they'll move chains.
He's a big possession receiver.
Possession.
Not just his size in terms of what he does. He big curl guy. Big curl guy, catch the ball, fight for a few yards, get out of bounds, get down, and make sure that he gets enough yardage to get you a first down.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. And I'm excited to see practice Friday. Like Isaiah Nayor, from the eye standpoint, just like looking at him, impresses me more than any receiver in that crew.
Well, he's 6'4", 200 pounds, and can fly.
The dude is built like a freak. He reminds me. I mean, like honestly, I made the comp to Omar Manning. And what I mean by that is just by looking at him.
Omar
because
like a freak.
Omar looked at that guy and said, this is a guy that could be playing on Sundays because of just sheer size.
Yeah.
And I think Isaiah Nayor is maybe a little bit more.
He's much more fluid.
But then also much more capable of keeping. How do I want to say this?
The main thing?
Yeah, keeping being able to play, being available on Saturday. Isaiah Nayor, I'm not concerned at this moment in time of Isaiah Nayor being available on Saturdays, like we were,
barring injury, of course.
But like we were with Omar Manning.
Right. Well, we're on the topic of receiving threats for Nebraska. This is, I think, the perfect time to bring this up because I told Uncle Kevin I would arbitrate a discussion he and I were having with specifically Happy Hour crew. Stricky might have been. Yeah, he was here for Thirsty Thursday. Kevin Meyer says Thomas Fidone gets 400 receptions, 500 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Wait. Okay, before you go overboard, if he hits those numbers, I buy Kevin Meyer 2 Mercado steaks.
Okay.
If he doesn't hit those numbers, he brings me some alcohol.
Okay.
So that's the bet.
So what's the numbers?
But 400 or 40 catches, 500 yards, 10 touchdowns. Okay. I'm going to, because I think those numbers are high. I told him he only has to hit 2 out of the 3.
Okay.
But then he also asked the question, how many games played is required to fulfill the bet? I said 9. So that's 75% of the games.
Okay.
But then he also then asked, can his numbers be proportional to the games played? Is it fair for the bet, in your opinion, for me to say that Thomas Fidone has to hit 2 of 3 of 40, 510? Or would it be more fair to say Fidone has to average 3.3 catches, 43 yards, and 0.8 touchdowns per game?
Nah, he's got to match the numbers.
I think he's got to match the numbers.
It can't be the averages. He's got to match the numbers.
Yeah.
And I can see him hitting 2 of those. There's no way he gets 10 touchdowns. There's no way.
I'm not even sold on 40 catches with this receiving core.
I think the 40 catches
I'm going to be honest.
Is the most realistic of it just because I can see him and Jamal as safety blankets.
He's got a chance to open up.
Why do I feel I kind of want Nebraska to utilize Nate Borkature more than they have in recent years?
Why is that?
Love Nate Borkature.
Why?
I like Nate Borkature a lot.
Okay,
I think he's.
Really I think he's. Understand what you see.
I think he's much more athletic than we give him credit.
Okay. Okay.
I genuinely do. Now maybe not to Thomas Fidone's, right? But like you also have to understand the Thomas Fidone, the availability, right, has been more or less at times, some at times less, obviously. Nebraska has had really, really talented tight ends since even going back to 2008, right? Like you can start through like the Kyler Reeds of the world, the Mike McNeils, the Sam Cottons, the Ben Cottons, Sethan Carter.
Sethan Carter lost so much money because of his quarterback.
Yes. Sethan Carter, Austin Allen, and Jack Stoll, and now Thomas Fidone and Nate Borkature. Like, there are guys on that roster that do things better than other guys, right? Thomas Fidone is probably the most athletic in that room. However, has not always been able to stay on the field. Nate Borkature has, for the most part, been consistent in his work, has been the number 2 guy, has always been there. Better blocker. I think he's a little bit more physical, and I think he's a good enough pass catcher to be a factor in that facet of the game.
I would love to see this tight end group with Sean Beckton still around.
I absolutely
agree. When the last staff left, Sean Beckton was one of the underrated departures. We know Travis Fisher was high on the list for SEC programs, but Sean Beckton got the most out of that position pretty much year after year, plus his recruiting ties in Florida. I think any coaching staff would be lucky to have a guy like Sean Beckton.
I think, I mean,
real quick before you
go ahead.
I look at Fedoni. If I want to get happy and jovial about him in the position, I need him to set the edge. So what you were talking about,
that's what I'm saying. The physicality piece has not
like
been there
part,
for Fedoni.
Bruh. Yeah,
he's physical when he runs. When he catches the ball and runs, he tends to be a little more physical. But when he has his hand in the dirt, in terms of run blocking, it's not always there.
And I'll be honest, like I think it's okay to have guys that do things better than other ones, and vice versa, right? Like if Fedoni wants to have a better facet of a specific spot than Bork, sure, that's fine. And if Bork wants something better over on the top of Fedoni, then that's fine too. The utilization and the availability, I think, are the most important for me. I think there's been a lot of times with downfield blocking that's been frustrating, and Nebraska's running game hasn't been great. It's been a lot of the quarterback run game, and I get that. But with that, you need athletic guys that can block and that have no problem getting a little nasty. And maybe it's because Thomas hasn't been 100%. Maybe that's that. And that's not. I'm sitting here with full speculation on but there has been a level of physicality that's been missing from all of Nebraska's perimeter blockers. And if Nebraska truly wants to get back to this ground and pound traditional running game with the running backs type of mentality, I think Nate Borkature is going to have to play a big part in it, especially if they line him up on the left side and there's not an experienced left tackle there as well. I think the tight end and the perimeter blocking is a very, very big focal point this year, and it has to be because it hasn't been up to par the last couple of years.
I completely agree with you there. And my thing with Fedoni is I have to be careful how you say this, not to compare him to this person. Okay. Not to compare him to this person, but I feel like he could be a Kyle Pitts type where it's that receiving tight end. It's that guy who's out there to make plays. But especially now with the Atlanta Falcons where he's at this last season, they asked him to block a lot more, and it just wasn't his style. It's just not something that he did. And again, not to say that Fedoni can't do that, because he's a physical specimen. He looks like he should be able.
The size is there.
He looks like he should be able to set the edge and be a really good blocker. But it's his play style, and especially what he was doing in high school, more of like a slot tight end kind of guy who's out there to catch the ball and make big plays.
And see, that's why I'm maybe a little lower on Fedoni, because I don't put him in the physical specimen category anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There are more guys at his size than there are guys his size with that athleticism. Not that he's unathletic. He can probably still run faster, jump higher than I can, right? But I'm not the comparison. He's more in line athletically with more traditional tight ends, and now he's learning how to be a traditional tight end. What set him apart was the athleticism, the ability to line him up out wide. And that's not all gone, but more of it is gone than I think people want to admit. So you can't necessarily use him as consistently in that role where he would be a true difference maker, where you say, yeah, I mean, he's too fast for linebackers, he's too big for defensive backs. He's just a traditional tight end right now until proven otherwise.
Yeah, he's definitely not Brock Bowers. Now that's a specimen, right?
You're right.
When you talk about a specimen, he's a specimen. What I don't want to see this year before you get that one, Nick, I don't want to see pulling guards hit the edge, or either in a wham block situation, get up in a hole if there's nobody there and start looking around. Run freaking into the secondary until you run into something. Find somebody.
Exactly.
I mean,
don't stop moving.
And they start looking around, and the next thing you know, your back's running up your tailbone. And
my thing is,
it's crazy.
And maybe this isn't a great comparison. I think like the expectation for Carter Nelson is maybe the expectation we had for Thomas Fedoni, and for where we're at. And because Carter Nelson's going to start out a wide receiver. You look at the body size, right, and the body comp. Thomas Fedoni listed at 6'5", 255. I don't know. I mean, sure. Carter Nelson's at 6'5", 230.
Is he now. Is he bigger than me? Because I'm 240, 48, 250. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he looks like that.
Here's the thing. I would say this. So what I'm getting at though is, I wonder at times if sometimes like what they're going to plan on doing with Carter Nelson to kind of and maybe what they expected to do with there was the Keelan Smith.
Yeah.
Like I put Thomas Fidone in that category because I think in the pass catching game and matched up with a linebacker, I think Thomas Fidone can win the majority of the battles.
Which he did last year.
Right? So I think there's pieces of it. But I also think that once again, this is on this coaching staff asking him to do things that maybe a Nate Borgacher is better at, or a guy built. And Nate Borgacher is 6 foot, is listed at 6'4", 255. I understand what I'm getting at there is that Thomas Fidone is technically an inch bigger and they're weighing the same. Body styles and body comps are different. It's a different type of body. It's a different type of, once again, like that mental tenacity.
And I think it's easier for Fidone to learn how to block enough than it is for Borgacher to get naturally softer hands.
Yeah.
But I also think Borgacher having the natural blocking mindset might be a leg up potentially too. And I think that you have to use them smart. I think 12 personnel would go a long way for Nebraska to not telegraph what you want to do. But that keeps one of your top 3 receivers off the field, or it keeps Ja'Cory Barney off the field. So you have to, I think, pick and choose your spots with those guys. Maybe I'm too high on the wide receivers and too low on the tight ends. There's a time and a place for all of them. But I think Nebraska has 4 legit receivers.
Okay.
And I think Nebraska has 1.5 legit tight ends.
What is
those
the
damn knee injuries?
Let's do this before we round it out. If I were to ask you, Austin, Rico, Strick, if I were to ask you guys who is the starting running back trotting out there next Saturday against UTEP, who's the first running back they put out there? Who are the, what would that be, top 3 wide receivers with Fidone? Because Fidone is going to be the number 1, right? Yeah. So who are the 3 wideouts? And who's the running back that trots out there first?
Rico, your show.
Emmett Johnson.
Okay.
Banks, Nayor. And this is the tough part. I think I have no idea who that third receiver is going to be. I'm gonna roll with Jalen Lloyd in the slot.
Okay.
You say running back and 3 receivers?
Running back and 3 receivers. And frankly, I mean, I think we can say just who's the third receiver because we know that Nair's and Banks are going to be the 2.
Okay. So
who's RB1 and who's wide receiver 3?
Running back 1, I think, is going to be Dante Dowdell.
Okay.
And I think the other receiver, I think you would throw Jalen Lloyd in the slot.
Okay. Austin?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with any of that. I still don't know between Johnson and Dowdell, Emmett and Dowdell. Make me pick one right now. My head tells me to pick Emmett Johnson. I just got a feeling in my gut that's going to be Dowdell.
No. Oh, go ahead.
And then for that third wide receiver, I do think it's Jalen Lloyd's job to lose. I think he has the leg up now, too. Unless he has the calf that kept him out for load management, in which case, Ja'Cory Barney. And I think Demetrius Bell really would have made a push, but I'm excited for Ja'Cory Barney this year.
I'm glad that you mentioned Ja'Cory Barney because that's the one. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, he's got demon speed.
He's got a bright future.
Yeah.
I wonder though also how much they'll just keep him at punt returner this year. I think he's going to be your number 1 punt returner.
Man, we need it.
So you're going to be on kick return also?
We need it. I don't care what it needs.
I mean, because then so at punt returner, you're looking at guys like Isaiah Garcia Castaneda was one that was fielding punts last Friday.
But is that
your other phone?
Is that an explosive guy, or is that just we were talking to Steve earlier, and he said, they mentioned Isaiah Garcia Castaneda as like a safer option.
It is. It is
Oliver Martin.
He feels like Billy Kemp.
Like
Oliver Martin, yes, in that category.
Like he'll be able to field it cleanly. He'll be able to catch it for sure. Maybe he'll get you some yards here and there, but it's not a guy who you're looking at as this guy's gonna put the fear of God into this punt unit, and they're really making sure they're filling their lanes.
We need to get out of that mode. That's the mode we need to get out of. We need to get into special teams, get busy mode.
Go and get it.
Or like the old beast mode.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're tired of just catching balls and just being stuck. Let's go.
Can I ask, no love for Gabe Ervin? We out on Gabe Ervin?
I think his time has passed.
I'm not.
I
I'm
disagree.
not out on him. I think he's still a viable option.
Okay, same scale of 1 through 5. 5 being shocked, jaw dropping. What in the world? If Gabe Ervin trots out his RB1,
4,
5.
Oh, okay.
Has the body.
Yeah,
He's another guy that
certainly.
I think has lost a little bit too much of the pop athletically.
Okay.
And I just don't trust him to stay healthy.
Okay.
Nothing against the kid, nothing against the skill set. I mean, promising freshman and sophomore years, but I'm not gonna put a lot of hopes on him till he does it for 8+ games.
Can I ask, where does Alex Bullock fit in the wide receivers?
If he trots out there as a starter, 5.
I think it's trouble out. I'm shocked if he's getting any high reps.
5 for the coaches, 6 ideally.
Okay.
I could see him out there. Like they mentioned it last year, he runs the best routes and he has the best hands. So I could see him out there.
Okay.
That's what they
Rico,
said.
that's like you.
That's
just
what they
saying
said.
Push.
That's what they
going
said.
Push on games. That's you, right?
I could see him out there.
And it's nothing against him. I just think that
not
this
high
is.
reps.
I know. I just think this is one of the deepest.
It's just loaded.
Because you're basically saying he's better than Malachi Coleman and Ja'Cory and
Janarin
Bonner.
Yeah,
like
Bonner.
you're basically saying that that's the case. I just don't see it. I just think that they have more depth now. I think that the guys that they were hoping that would stand up for them last year was not. And at that point, you start trying to see who is going to step up, and you start putting guys like him in there. And he did. He did okay. I mean, he did fine.
Yeah.
I just think that it's too deep.
All right. There you have it. Well, sorry, guys. We took up your first segment.
Man, we love crossing over with you guys.
I appreciate it, Stricky. What's coming up on the show today?
We will jump in with Evan Blaney of the Omaha World Herald, talk some Husker football, maybe a little Husker baseball as well. Happy 105th birthday, Sister Jean.
I saw that.
From Loyola. I got some facts from the March Madness account, things
Still
that
kicking.
Still
Sister
rolling.
Jean is older than.
Say,
hey, she's in a wheelchair. Be respectful, please, Stricky.
No, see.
Wow.
Only look at what you said. I said still kicking. You said still rolling.
You're both. How dare you?
Wow. Boy, you gotta watch what you say. I mean, I didn't even. Anyway,
Yes, you did.
25.
Yes, you
No,
did.
I didn't.
You were just hoping that we didn't notice.
And then Dylan Raiola, and how many single digits get drafted next year?
Ooh, there you have it. That's coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. Appreciate Steve. Appreciate Linked to Literacy coming in, hanging out. Amy of Linked to Literacy. We're out of here. Talk to you tomorrow.
Adios.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial.